Looking for a new venture in life? Looking for a break from the muggy atmosphere of the Earth sphere? Then join us at Trioptimum's own Citadel Station, the leading research and development team in the world of robotics, pharmaceuticals, and genetic research. Expand your own horizon along with the future of humanity. Citadel Station is calling you.
It has been a while since I've had a game just absolutely grip me. The System Shock Remake was a breath of fresh air that somehow did very little to change its existing format. Instead of reworking System Shock into something entirely new, the team at Night Dive Studios doubled down to perfect what made the original System Shock stand out from the vast ocean of games of the same genre. Looking Glass Studios was ahead of its time with the original System Shock, having a bigger dependence on puzzles and storytelling rather than just shooting down waves of enemies to find a key to the next level. Granted, that still happens, but there is much more to it than that. System Shock starts out in the gloomy city of New Atlanta, where our nameless hacker is busy stealing the data for the latest in neurological implant technology. Despite his or her skill, this doesn't protect them from the watchful eye of Trioptimum Corporation, and soon they're captured.
Turn around! Now!
But instead of being taken to jail, they're offered those implants for free and by a hand of a skilled surgeon rather than a black market dealer. The catch? They've got to disable the ethical cores that lay within Citadel Station's AI, known as Shodan. It's a no-brainer for our hacker, and after disabling those cores, soon find themselves aboard the Citadel Station along with those new implants. But now our protagonist has to travel from floor to floor of the station in an attempt to stop the rogue AI in which they help create. System Shock will have you scouring the station for various weapons and health items in the form of drugs to guarantee your survival through each floor of the station. Shodan's servants are around every corner, and there's rarely a time when you're not feeling the pressure. The bottom line of this game is, System Shock does not love you. It was definitely a project of love made from Night Dive Studios, but the game itself does not love you. There will be no holding hands, no helpful hints, just survival against the odds. And there are a lot of odds, and it's a little deceptive in its design. The first floor you start in is a medical bay. This means if things get a little tough, you'll have this little pod here to fully restore your health. Now I just said there's no hand-holding, but that seems pretty generous. Well, enjoy that little bit of medical solace because there's only 3, maybe 4 of those little pods in the entire station. This means having to really plan whether it's better to press on or if you should travel back to the lower floors in hopes of reaching a pod to recover your health if you're without healing items. And depending on the difficulty you've chosen for yourself, this could mean fighting hordes of enemies the entire way. These little pods are not game-changing, rather a frustrating aspect of the station itself. An aspect you can't really find unfair. If you listen to some of the logs you find throughout the station, you'll learn that Citadel Station's entire environment was designed to be frustrating. You're not dealing with game design choices here, you're dealing with actual lore. The audio logs are another important factor as they'll be your guide on what to do to progress through the game. You'll not find an objective log or details on the top right of the screen that tell you where to go next. The objectives you have will come in the form of regrets from employees recorded on these audio logs. Regrets of not taking out the security station cameras on each floor, or not getting to the overrides that could counter Shodan's plans. These are all the things they couldn't do, but you could, and you will. If you're not paying attention to what the former employees of Trioptimums are trying to tell you, you might find yourself doing something seemingly impactful, then standing there like, well, what did that do? Or, what is this thing? Shodan's influence over the station will become more than evident as you traverse the labyrinth that is the space station. But luckily there's a lot you can do to fight back, whether that be the more upfront choice of shooting our minions in the face and breaking your cameras and computer nodes, or the more technological method of getting into cyberspace and disabling some of her locks there. Doing this is sometimes necessary and sometimes optional, but I always recommend doing it to give yourself more of an arsenal. You'll need it. And I've got to say, System Shock has such a vibe. The 80s and 90s representation of hacking into cyberspace being represented by a space shooter game is just a classic choice. Really, I'm glad Night Dive made the decision to stick with what the original System Shock made. Having these big chunky pieces of technology serving one function rather than having a phone or tablet that just does everything is something I really miss. It just harbors back to those days of you being absolutely decked out in tech. This may be unrelated, but there's a really good video by Drew Gooden showcasing why current technology just isn't fun anymore. Nowadays, anything you buy will try to sell you something else, or will come with tons of barriers rather than just solving the problem you need. So even in video game form, to have that piece of you excited to see what the next piece of hardware you find actually does, whether that be an addition to your neural interface or a shiny new gun. Also, the detail of you inspecting every new thing you pick up is always aesthetically pleasing. Even if it is getting me killed right now, it's a medical item, put it away! And further immersing yourself in the vibe of life on Citadel Station is the overall ambience that the environment provides. Once you sidestep all the dead bodies and such, there are multiple windows to glance out and see the vast expanse of Citadel Station. And while the original had a lot of high energy music in it, the remake has opted for a more ambient sound, only ramping up the music when in combat or in a particular area. It's amazing to just walk around the station and just immerse yourself in what life in the station may have been like. It's a blend between futuristic experience with the world's latest advancements in technology, and the diluted nature of an overpowering corporation residing over everything you do. But at least there's Snacktron! At least you can kind of stick it to the man by literally taking everything you can find, vaporizing it into scrap, and then recycling your scrap for currency to buy things like food and drugs. It's a little funny to think you're just traveling around and eating snacks while a rogue AI is trying to kill you. The fun of stealing everything you can is slightly dampened by the constant struggle for inventory space. Inventory management can be fun, but there is a huge difference between this and something like Resident Evil 4. It's a little annoying, to say the least. You can auto-arrange your stuff, but it also changes up your quick select weapons, and that's kind of frustrating. The immersion is great. That is until one of Shodan's mini cyborgs rises up from the ground and tries to kill you. Now it's time for combat. System Shock offers many ways to take down your foes, from heavy-powered guns like an assault rifle and railgun, to more stealthy methods like hacking your enemies and using mine grenades. You'll be somewhere between having too much ammo and never having enough, especially when anything can be around the corner. But I think it helps to keep some of the tension. You might be safe, but it's only a matter of time before that changes. I also can't stress enough how much this game doesn't hold your hand. What you can do with your technology is only explained through a small text box when you get it. After that, it's up to you, and that's a hefty order when dealing with all kinds of obstacles like radiation and finding out how to disable a system that turns you into a cyborg, should you die. That basically translates to an automatic game over, so save often or you'll find yourself losing chunks of progress. It was a pretty rough time for me, and I was only at a medium level of difficulty. But that's a level of challenge that makes it interesting. You can add challenges like having to beat the game in 10 hours and having enemies spawn almost constantly. It took me about 25 hours to beat my run, so I can't imagine how difficult that would be. System Shock is a difficult experience, but a fantastic one, and one that sticks with you. Even going back to capture this footage had me wanting to run through it again. But I had to stop, I just had to. Though I wouldn't be surprised if I do find myself playing this again a few months later. There is quality painted into every floor of the Citadel. Every level feels and acts different from the last, making you never know what to expect next. The story that unfolds is gripping, and I always found myself excited to find another log and learn of an employee's fate at the hands of Shodan. Its atmosphere and storytelling is perfect, which has me craving the next game. And luckily I won't have to wait, as Night Dive Studios recently announced their remaster of System Shock 2. Now this is more of a graphical touch-up of the second game rather than a full overhaul, but they did hint that a remake wasn't off the table, and this could breathe life into the fabled System Shock 3. All I know is that I loved what I got, and I want more of it. I need more of it. I need more games like System Shock that feel like they were made with pure love and appreciation for the original, funded by people that wanted to see new life put into a long dormant series. It's the sliver of hope I see in gaming where things are created with passion and the love of the game rather than something that is heavily revised, woefully unfinished, and greedily produced with the sole purpose of making a quick buck. I do wish the threat of an evil AI seemed like the work of fiction and not something that could happen like next week. Thanks for watching. Hey guys, thanks for checking out my video. I really love System Shock and I hope you play it too. If you had, tell me about your experience. Leave a like if you liked this video, and subscribe if you're new. As always, keep it practical.